Well, moving now to our special focus at this hour on NDTV. The Delhi High Court, while granting bail to a 23-year-old POCSO accused, said that POCSO is meant to protect kids and not criminalize consensual relationships. So strong remarks coming in from the Delhi High Court saying that putting POCSO accused of a certain age in the company of hardened criminals will serve no purpose. This while a bail was granted to a 23-year-old POCSO accused, in which the mother of the girl in that particular case had filed an FIR saying that the boy, the 23-year-old who was a neighbor, took the girl away and the girl is now pregnant. Joining me now to discuss what really is the jurisdiction as far as POCSO is concerned, how should POCSO be used to, in a sense, spread awareness as far as consensual relationships are concerned. I'm being joined by Dr. Sangeeta Sharma, child rights activist and a director of Childline Lucknow. Also with me, Abhijit Nirmal, Head of Child Protection, Bal Raksha Bharat. Sumitra Veer Goenka, member of Center for Knowledge, Sovereignty and a political analyst who supports the BJP government, will also be joining us in a short while. Going across to you first, Mr. Abhijit Nirmal. You see, the fact is that the Delhi High Court has said, the bottom line of the High Court's order is that, the POCSO Act is meant to protect kids and not criminalize consensual relationships. How do you look at this order?
I completely agree that the purpose of POCSO Act is to protect children, rather criminalizing that. So we need to understand one thing. When in such incidences, if there are chances that out of 10 cases, some of the cases may be in relation to the romantic cases, but not necessarily all the cases will be romantic cases. So it's very important that all these cases are mandatorily reported, which is mentioned in the POCSO Act. So any cases which comes in knowledge regarding sexual abuse of a child or a sexual relationship between a child or the young person, where a child is involved. Now, who will examine this? The court has to examine this, and they have to find out whether it's a romantic case or there is an angle of any kind of sexual exploitation. So it's fine. We understand that there may be some of the chances that there may be some romantic cases, but it's very important that these cases should go to the court. And the court need to understand. Court is one who will decide whether these were the romantic cases or the cases related to a sexual abuse. So in this case, the High Court has given a judgment. Considering that this is a romantic case, it's fine.
Sumitra Veer Goenka, member of the Center for Knowledge, Sovereignty and political analyst who supports the BJP, has worked closely in these cases as well. One of the remarks made by the Delhi High Court was that at the time of the offence, of the alleged offence, the girl was 17, she was a minor, but the court said that she had sufficient maturity and the intellectual capacity to deal with the nuances of the relationship. Do you think that the idea of consent is clear when it comes to minors? Of course, it's a confusing idea. It's a complex idea, many would say. So, how does one actually differentiate between what a consensual relationship is and perhaps what is not, particularly when it involves minors?
Yeah, so I think this is a very complex situation. It is not like a black and white kind of a situation where something is said about minor, the relationship here. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at the case of Nirbhaya, what happened is one of the rapist was a minor, and that person got the benefit of being a minor. So in this case, I'm not sure if something like this should get applicable or not. While I said in the beginning that whether the relationship is consensual and whatever happened in this case qualifies for a case of POCSO, because in POCSO you see we need offences of sexual assault or some kind of sexual harassment, exploitation. So definitely the intent behind this case may not be the three things which I said, but at the same time if you look at just the age factor, then this kind of a judgment is quite conflicting conflicting from what happened in the case of Nirbhaya, because in the case of Nirbhaya, we saw that the minor rapist got a chance to rehabilitate, whereas in this case, the victim is a minor, and in spite of that, it is considered that she entered into this relationship in a consensual
All right,
way.
Sumitra Goenka, I'm not sure how appropriate would it be to compare this case with the Nirbhaya case, but your point taken about what you're saying, is the ambit of POCSO, and that is something that's been at the center of raging debate as well. Sangeeta Sharma, you have worked a lot with kids, you've worked with a lot with survivors and their rehabilitation. Do you think we need to look at the larger ambit of POCSO, that it should also involve the rehabilitation of survivors, and it should be used to, as the court says, protect kids and not just criminalize kids? So, the larger understanding of POCSO needs to be widened in this context as well.
That's true. We need to look at the big picture, because when we take up this kind of a cases, like you just mentioned about the Delhi High Court, there are already 2 cases which have been there in Meghalaya and Mumbai High Court. They also said the same thing. And if we are talking of rehabilitation, it is not only the rehabilitation of the boy, the person who is involved as a victimizer. It is also the person who is considered to be a victim, but actually she may not be a victim. It may be her consensual approach, consensual sexual relationship. And that is the reason it is here that we need to look into, especially the age group, if we take up the age group between 15 to 18 years of age. Because if we take up shelter homes now, because I'm in Lucknow, I can tell you there are 18 girls who are pregnant who actually want to go home back, because it was their consensual approach because of which they came into this relationship. But they are victims. They are considered as victims, but actually they are not. We are making them victims by keeping them in shelter homes, away from their parents, away from their. There are a number of girls which are accepted by their in-laws. They have been taken by the police from their in-laws' home. So, which is not a very good picture, and especially for the girls who have given birth in the shelter home to the child. There are 14 girls who are living with their children in the shelter home.
Right.
Now you see the small child who's born in the shelter home. What kind of a childhood that child is getting?
And of course,
What
also
kind
the
of a-
trauma
what kind
of
of a-
the
you
trauma
know,
of the young mother is also something that has to be kept in mind in that
Yes.
rehabilitation process. That is also something which is an extremely sort of a complex idea to deal with. But Abhijit, Nirmal, going across to you on this whole idea of the family's understanding of what a consensual relationship is, because you see in this particular case as well, the court said that the FIR was filed on the insistence of the family. So how do we factor that in, that when it involves minors, the family's understanding of whether a relationship is consensual or not also becomes important?
So, family is very important, but we need to understand first 2 sides. One is the victim and the other side is the perpetrator. In this case, when the court decided that the victim is fine, but the perpetrator is actually got into a consensual relationship. Now, we need to understand one person who was 17 year 5 months old. She was still considered the children in need of care and protection. So all those rehabilitation, healthcare, and the mechanism which is given under Juvenile Justice Act.
Right, of course, and also this is,
available for them.
POCSO cases, child sex abuse cases have been on the rise, particularly in the past couple of years. And the most concerning factor is that many of these cases continue to lie, they're pending in fast track courts. Almost 2 lakh cases, 2 lakh POCSO cases are pending in fast track courts, even as special courts continue to be formed. The Women and Child Development Ministry has said that more such special courts need to come up. Thanks so much to all of you for joining us on this very important topic. This as we discuss the rise in child sex abuse.